What's going on, guys? BriarRabbit here. Today I want to talk about SteamOS and Steam machines. I'm really interested in this topic. I find it to be a fascinating tangent of video games right now. So if you don't know what SteamOS is, it's basically an OS developed by Valve that is going to run video games. And you can install this on a computer, or you can buy a Steam machine that has it pre-installed. And these Steam machines are going to be basically PCs with SteamOS pre-installed that will run, Steam games. And what I find really interesting about this is that it is so open-ended. So you can buy a Steam machine from anywhere from like $500 to $1,000, $2,000. Even the top end could be $6,000, depending on how you have it spec'd out. And all different manufacturers are going to be building these things. And, it's really interesting. Steam does not think these will compete with the current generation of consoles. Steam believes that this is really going to be its own individual thing, and I don't see that as being a realistic vision for Steam machines. If you're going to plug something into your PC or into your TV and play video games on it, that is going to directly compete with the PS4 and the Xbox One. And I see a difference between what has been announced with Steam machines and what we already have with the PlayStation 4 and especially the Xbox One, where there's all this other functionality. The Xbox One can, route your HDMI cable signal through it and control your cable box, Netflix, Hulu, all these other services coming through. Steam OS is really going to be a very basic OS just meant to play video games on. The benefit is, though, that you won't have all these Windows issues that you currently have when you play PC games. That's, to me, the biggest reason not to get into PC gaming, is that when I sit down and play a game, I don't want to have to worry about, is my graphics driver up to date? Does this game need more RAM than I currently have? Do I need any of this stuff to be changed out? I don't want to do it. I don't have any desire to take care of any of that stuff. So on that level, the Steam machine actually looks fairly attractive to me. Another thing that looks really attractive to me is that it is going to support Oculus. So if you don't know what the Oculus is, it's this big VR headset, and they just kind of showed off a newer version of it at CES, and by all accounts, it is absolutely stunning. It's got magnificent displays. It really has reduced the lag for movement when when it's tracking your head. And to me, that's definitely going to be a future path for gaming. Whether or not they can get that to a price point where it's going to have really widespread adoption is another question. And whether that support for the Oculus Rift in SteamOS will be enough to drive both of those sales, I don't really know. Now you're talking a minimum cost of, let's say the Oculus Rift releases at, or the Oculus headset releases at $400, and the cheapest Steam machine you can get is $500. You're looking at a minimum cost of $900, which is a hefty investment for video games. Granted, this will be a totally new way to play video games, completely immersive, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm having trouble getting on board the Steam machine wave, though, right? I just bought an Xbox One, I just bought a PlayStation 4, and I'm actually really happy with both of them. I think they both offer really, really great graphics, and I understand that they're not as good as high-end PC graphics at the moment. But like I said, I'm just not interested in dealing with the headaches associated with the PC. However, if I could buy a $500 or $1,000 Steam box that gives me that experience, also connected to my TV, so I'm on my couch in the living room, that might be more along the lines of how I like to game. But I don't know, it's like, that's a lot of money to spend on a console. Also, you gotta expect that Microsoft is gonna see what's happening here. They have got to be really concerned about what's happening with SteamOS, because what Valve is trying to do here is take the gaming away from Windows and bring it to their own operating system. So currently, if you're running Steam games, you're running them in Windows or in OS X, or I think those are the two. You can even run it in Linux. And you're basically running the OS and then the Steam shell, and then your game on top of that. If they just get rid of Windows altogether, there's a lot of people who buy gaming PCs just as gaming PCs, right? They're not doing any work on these things. They're not using them for homework. They're using them for gaming, and if Windows starts to see a significant impact from SteamOS sales, because instead of buying a PC with Windows loaded on it, you're just buying a PC and loading SteamOS on it, that could significantly impact Microsoft Windows sales, which Microsoft is not going to like. But again, it depends on how successful SteamOS becomes. A lot of people, I'm sure, will dual boot a machine so they can run both SteamOS and Windows, boot into whichever one that is going to be more useful for the task at hand. Another thing about the Steam machines is the controller. I find the controller to be, well, there's a lot of questions about the controller. I read a lot of coverage from CES about the controller, and to me, it doesn't seem like it's very positive. It doesn't seem like that controller is really going to be, you know, a revolutionary controller. It seems like it's going to be kind of a bad experience. The only experience that I've ever had with touchscreen controls is on the iPhone and the iPad, and trying to control a first-person shooter, or basically any kind of twitchy game, is a bad experience on a touchscreen. And they're basically taking a perfectly good concept in a controller and adding touch panels to it instead of thumbsticks, and I don't know if that's going to work for me. I don't think I'm on board with that. Now, there's nothing to say that the other manufacturers of Steam machines won't introduce really great controllers, and there's nothing that says that you can't just plug an Xbox 360 controller into this and be off to the races. But if you want to be on the same playing field as a PC player in a Steam game, then you're really going to want a mouse and keyboard. And you know, then you're into a whole nother situation where am I going to put a mouse and keyboard if this thing is sitting in front of my TV and I'm sitting on the couch? So, you know, the mouse and keyboard argument for TV-connected PC gaming has always been an issue. It's never really worked. We've seen products come out that try and solve that issue. Nothing's really ever been perfect. A lot of people have chosen just to plug in an Xbox 360 controller into their PC, and they kind of get the best of both worlds that way. They get the good controller with the Xbox 360, and they also get the PC's power on their TV, and I can see the attraction there. That sounds like a really good idea. Maybe that'll work with the SteamOS and the Steam machine. We don't really know yet. We don't know if an Xbox 360 controller will work. Or another company could come along and just kind of mimic a Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 4 controller, and that could be all good too. So to me, Steam machines are something that I kind of flip-flop my opinion on all the time. Sometimes I'm like, no way am I going to buy this thing. It's like, it's too pie in the sky. There's too many question marks about it. Maybe if adoption rates catch on and it becomes like a really successful thing, maybe I'll jump on board at that time. But then I start looking at, well, it's going to have Oculus support, and it's going to have all this VR, and it's going to have really great graphics, and it's going to have a whole library of Steam games that I haven't been able to access before. And I'm like, well, you know, maybe I'll jump right on board with that right at the get-go. I don't know. I can't make up my mind. What do you guys think about SteamOS and the Steam machine? Are you guys looking forward to this thing? Do you think it's just going to be a blip on the radar? Nobody's going to adopt this at all? Or do you think it's going to be the next revolution in gaming? Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. That's going to wrap up this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.